The sky above southern Germany was a cold, brittle blue, the kind that made the world seem sharper and more dangerous than usual. Captain Isaiah King Turner of the 382nd Fighter Group, the Red Tails, sat in the cockpit of his P-51D Mustang Georgia Lady, the canopy rattling lightly in the wind. His gloved hand rested on the throttle, his eyes scanning the heavens for trouble. He didn't have to look far. Trouble in 1945 had grown wings and jet engines. Behind him, spread across the morning sky in a loose escort formation, were 10 other Mustangs, each tail dipped in a bright, unmistakable crimson. No matter what the Luftwaffe sent at them, no matter how many jeers they faced from other American units, the Red Tails made one thing clear. Bombers under their watch came home alive. "King, this is Silk," came Lieutenant Marcus Wheeler's voice over the radio. "Any radar chatter?" "I'm getting the sort of feeling Grandma used to say meant company." "No radar hits," Turner answered. "But stay sharp. Jets like to show up out of nowhere." Jets, a year ago the word meant nothing. Now it meant everything. The Messerschmitt Me-262, the fastest thing ever to tear across a battlefield, could slice through bomber formations like a scythe. No Allied plane could catch it in level flight. Their only hope was to see them early, dive hard, and catch them when they slowed, ahead of the escort. A box of B-17s from the 301st Bomb Group droned toward Munich, sunlight flashing off aluminum skin. Their contrails reached backward across the sky like long white ropes. Turner looked at them, and as always, something like resolve tightened in his chest. "These men are going home today," he said softly, and then the warning came. "Red flight. This is Silk. I've got fast movers high 11 o'clock. Wheeler shouted. "Angels 30 plus and diving." Turner snapped his head upward, their tiny black specks dropping fast. "How many?" he demanded. "6. No, 9. Jets." Wheeler's voice thinned with tension. "Me-262s." Turner flicked his transmit switch. "Red Tails, tighten up. This is what we trained for. Bombers, take evasive pattern Baker." The sky erupted. The Me-262s dropped like thrown knives, their twin Jumo engines leaving pale vapor trails. The German jets leveled out and accelerated toward the bombers with impossible speed. Turner slammed his throttle forward. "Brake, brake!" The Mustangs scattered, diving, rolling, twisting into attack runs. The first jet streaked through the bomber box. Cannon shells ripped through the air, tearing a line of black puffs across the sky. A B-17 blossomed in flame, wings shearing off as it spun downward in a long, sickening corkscrew. Turner's blood ran cold. "We've got to hit them while they climb." He yanked his Mustang into a steep climb, feeling the engine roar and tremble against the strain. The G-forces squeezed his chest as he pulled behind one of the retreating jets. For a few precious seconds, the Me-262 slowed to bank upward. "Come on. Just a little." The crosshairs drifted over the jet's tail. Turner fired. His 650 cal guns erupted in a brilliant chain of sparks. Tracers reached up and struck home. The jet's left engine burst in a brief flame. The Me-262 rolled violently, smoke streaming from the nacelle. "You're hit! You're hit!" Wheeler cheered. "He's going down." But the German pilot was stubborn. The 262 leveled out, shedding speed but still alive. Turner followed it through a half-roll, pressing the advantage. The jet pilot finally bailed. Their black silhouette tumbled out as the silver shape plunged into a distant forest. Turner exhaled, then swung his Mustang around, and the sky was chaos. Jets dove and climbed with frightening agility. Mustangs twisted after them, straining engines and airframes to the limits. A 262 flashed past Wheeler so fast the Mustang shook from the turbulence. "King, I can't get a bead. They're too fast." "Nobody catch them straight," Turner barked. "Go for them when they turn." Another Me-262 lined up on the bombers. "No, you don't," Turner growled. He dove until the Mustang trembled, the world vibrating around him. The diving speedometer climbed steadily. 350, 380, 400. Finally, he was dropping faster than the jet. Turner fired from long range. Tracers arced downward like falling stars. The German flinched, jinking right, just enough to ruin his firing run on the B-17 formation. "King on your 6. Turner saw it. Another Me-262 swooping behind him, guns flashing. He rolled hard left. Cannon fire ripped through the air where he'd been a half-second earlier. The Mustang shuddered, the right aileron taking several hits. Turner steadied, heart pounding. The jet overshot, zooming ahead and climbing to reset its attack. "Silk," he shouted. "Cut him off." Wheeler appeared like a guardian angel out of the sun, diving behind the German with guns blazing. The jet pilot banked sharply, dodging the first burst, but Wheeler stayed on him, relentless. "You're mine, you high-priced go-kart." Turner watched it unfold with something close to awe. Wheeler predicted every move, rolling when the jet rolled, diving when it dove. At last, the German tried a desperate climbing spiral. Wheeler caught him. He fired a full burst straight up into the Me-262's belly. Flames erupted. The jet stalled and fell like a stone. Turner whooped. "Good kill, Silk." But the celebration lasted only a heartbeat. King, bombers reporting hits. "We've lost at least 4. Turner jerked his head toward the formation. A horrible sight met him. Burning fortresses, trailing smoke, wings broken, spiraling down. "We need to break up their next pass," Turner said. "We take the fight to them now." He rolled, dove, and pulled into position ahead of the bomber stream. The red tails gathered behind him, some planes smoking, others already missing panels of skin. Jets coming back around. Wheeler shouted. 9 Me-262s lined up for another attack run. The Mustangs were outnumbered, outgunned, and too slow, but they weren't out of fight. Turner keyed his mic. "Red tails, defensive line pattern. Make 'em fight their way through us." The Mustangs formed a staggered barrier, spread wide, gaps between them narrowing, forcing the jets to choose between weaving through or abandoning their attack. The German leader dove, forcing his squadron to follow. Turner braced. The air cracked as the jets slashed through the line. But the Mustangs for a moment broke their rhythm, just enough. Several jets were forced wide. Others hesitated. The bomber stream slipped through untouched. Turner saw the lead jet climbing again. Not today, he dove after it. The Mustang howled as it pushed through the air. The 262 was seconds from escaping, but Turner fired anyway, a long, desperate burst. One tracer found the engine. The jet caught fire. Its pilot bailed as the aircraft blossomed into smoke. The remaining German jets, now short on fuel from their afterburning attacks, climbed sharply and fled east. Wheeler circled back beside Turner. "King, they're breaking off. They're heading home." Turner looked around the sky. Burning fortresses drifted downward like dying stars. Parachutes floated. The air still shimmered from gunfire and jet exhaust. The world smelled of smoke even through the cockpit glass, but the surviving bombers, most of them, were still flying. "They're pulling out," Turner said. Red tails form up. "We're escorting what's left home." It took them more than an hour to limp back to Italy. Several bombers dropped out one by one, but most made it. When they landed at Ramitelli, ground crews swarmed the damaged Mustangs. Some had holes the size of fists punched through their skins. One had lost half a rudder. Wheeler's tail had 3 long gashes from cannon shells. Turner slid out of the cockpit and nearly collapsed from exhaustion. Colonel Davis walked up, eyes wide. "Report, Captain," Davis said quietly. Turner removed his helmet. 6 jets shot down, confirmed. 2 probables. Heavy losses for the bombers, sir. And the red tails? 1 wounded. No losses. Davis inhaled deeply, then nodded. "You met jet fighters head-on, and you protected that formation. That's what history will remember." Turner glanced at Wheeler, who was grinning like a man who had outraced death. Around them, exhausted pilots and crew chiefs exchanged quiet handshakes and slaps on the shoulder. Turner looked out toward the sky, growing orange with evening. "The jets were faster," he said softly. "But our hearts weren't," Davis agreed. "And that, Turner, is why your squadron will be remembered long after the last jet falls silent." That night, in the dim glow of the flight line, Turner sat under the wing of Georgia Lady. He traced the bullet holes with his fingers, feeling the rough edges. Wheeler walked over and sat beside him. "King," Wheeler said, "you think they'll send more jets tomorrow?" Turner smiled wearily. "Probably. You scared?" "Yeah," Wheeler smiled. "Me too." They sat there in silence, the sky above them wide and starlit. Another night at war. Another day survived. Another impossible fight overcome. The red tails had stared down the fastest killers the Luftwaffe had to offer, and they were still here. In the end, it wasn't speed or firepower that carried them through. It was something stronger, something red on the tail and iron in the soul.